All right, let's start my favorite segment. And that is hashtag science. That's right, everybody. This is the portion of the Z Show where I come and present to you all the latest of the mainstream news articles concerning science. But we know it's not real science. It's hashtag science, which means it's like fake science. It kind of means it's a bunch of bullshit presented as theories and then presented as facts to children and everybody else. Let's get into it. Bump, 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 bump. My music won't loop. I'll give you guys a behind the scenes thing. So I pull my music up and then I try to loop it. That way I can go into the stupid segment and then the music plays. But then YouTube decides that it's not going to let me loop the music. So now, as I have to sit here and just kind of fill time as I re-enter YouTube to try to reset the stupid feature, which I'm doing now. Let me try it now. Maybe YouTube will cooperate with me. Hey, at least they're letting me stream. They're not, striking me and banning me for a week because we want to do sing-alongs. All right, let's try it now. No, that should work. We'll see. What are you saying, Rose? I can see you down there. What's going on, Rose? Rose lost her channel, everybody. Rose 777. We'll bring her up so everybody could see her. YouTube's like not being nice to people. They're taking people's channels away. They took Rose's channel away. Maybe Rose will come up in a little bit and tell us about it. Maybe we'll see Rose in a little bit. Let's get going with the segment. So what you guys don't know is I take these little segments. I'm in a process now, and I pull them from my streams, and I'm going to have a whole playlist on my channel for hashtag science. So any of my new listeners, you'll be able to go through my illustrious broadcasting history and check out all my old content. One of them is my hashtag science segments. Like I said, where we go in and we kind of review what's being presented to the inculcated masses, the great unwashed. And we're going to do that now. Today's article is brought to you by space.com. And that pretty much sums it up. If you're going to have an article about SpaceX and Elon Musk, it should be on space.com. I wish I knew enough back in the 90s to, go around and purchase up these domain names. I would have went after space.com. I imagine that fetched a pretty penny. This article is entitled SpaceX's defense-focused Starshield satellite. Internet business lands first contract. That's a fucking mouthful. Let's start. SpaceX won its first contract for Starshield, the defense-focused version of its Starlink satellite internet service from the US Space Force. So this is interesting. We're in this new era now where all these government types of activities, initiatives, things that were previously under the domain of government, apparently they're being contracted out now to all these independent companies, including defense contracts. So apparently, SpaceX won the first contract. I mean, is that a surprise? They're already apparently shuttling people and cargo to and from the International Space Station. Apparently, there's been 8 trips up there, but who's counting? So now, not only is Elon Musk, not only is he taken over for NASA, he's now going to take over for, the United States military. Hey, what can go wrong, guys, that we're putting all of our defense capabilities and all of our previously allocated military resources, what can go wrong that we're putting those into a private company like SpaceX? I mean, look what they're doing with Blackwater over there in the Middle East. I mean, this is a great idea. Let's take these services that were previously in the public domain, used for public defense and the public good and the protection of our sovereign nation, apparently, and let's put it into the hands of a private company. Because nothing could go wrong there. Of course, it's a great idea. Let's continue. The 1-year contract has a maximum value of $70 million, a U.S. Air Force representative told Bloomberg. The contract provides for Starshield end-to-end service via Starlink constellation, user terminals, ancillary equipment, network management, and other related services. So again, we're placing all of our, our protection, all this, military operations in the hands of a private company run by Elon Musk. Hey, I trust him. Why not? You see the guy? He apparently has like all kinds of children, and he's banging all these like hot, sexy rock stars and Hollywood actresses. Of course. Why wouldn't you trust the guy? SpaceX will be obligated $15 million by the end of this month, and the contract is expected to support over 50 mission partners across all arms of the U.S. military. Satellite-based communication systems, and Starlink in particular, were thrown into the spotlight during the early months of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, when SpaceX activated the service in Ukraine and sent large shipments of the Starlink terminals for use by civilians in the Ukrainian military. So again, what can go wrong? We have a person who's apparently the head of a corporation deciding who the U.S. military should support in an independent geopolitical skirmish going on across the world. So I guess we're all just fine with leaving the decisions who this country supports to an unelected, apparently genius who runs these multiple multinational corporations. I mean, what is he doing now, Elon Musk? Oh, that's right. He's doing the Starlink thing, which is basically taking over for the U.S. military, apparently. He's revolutionizing the travel industry with electric vehicles and electric transportation, which includes revamping the entire infrastructure and power grid of the United States. He's building colonies on Mars. He's saving free speech with his purchase of Twitter, which is now X. He's instituting the transhumanist era with his Neuralink. And we're okay with it. I guess everyone's just okay with this now. We've entered James Bond territory, apparently. We're just okay with like powerful men taking over for governments. which one can argue is already the system that we have in place. A bunch of corporations posing as government entities, a bunch of elite bloodline psychopaths colluding to run this entire world. At least they're being more honest about it now. At least we're not going to just pretend like we have, rights, freedoms, independent nations supported by things like constitutions and the Bill of Rights. At least we're being a little bit more honest about it. We're just like letting everybody know, no, it's just a bunch of people running stuff. And really it is might that makes right, and money and power rule. Where was I? I kind of digressed a bit there. Oh yeah, we're talking about how Elon Musk is basically saving the Ukraine and fighting Russia single-handedly. That's right. Oh, okay, where are we? But Starlink's role in Ukrainian defense was contested, especially by SpaceX CEO Elon Musk himself. Oh, interesting. While Musk seemed to support sending Starlink terminals to the Ukraine military at first, it was later revealed that he refused to activate the service when Ukraine requested it prior to a planned attack on the Russian Navy. So again, Elon Musk is apparently deciding how the war in Ukraine is going to go. Starshield announced last December. Well, hopefully, hello AI bot who wrote this article. Can you try better with your grammar? Let's continue. Starshield will hopefully clear up much of the ambiguity around using commercial service in war operations. When the company announced Starshield, it noted on its website that the service leverages SpaceX Starlink technology and launch capability to support national security efforts, though providing scant other details. So weird. So here we have NASA giving contracts and supporting SpaceX in its efforts to create this Starshield and this Starlink constellation technology that apparently Elon Musk has developed. Well, here's my question, NASA. Why didn't you just do it yourself? You get a bunch of money. What is it, like $72 million a day or something like that? It's a lot of dough. Why did you need Elon for it? Why are we ceding our sovereignty to independent corporations? I didn't vote for Elon Musk. Did any of you guys? Why is Elon Musk even involved in this conversation? Why should he have a say in any of it? And if anything were real, instead of giving him contracts, if anything were real, his technology and his company should probably be usurped, taken over by the US government. Should one man be so powerful? I don't know. Doesn't add up. Your buddy Z's not buying it. Let's continue. Indeed, while SpaceX did not comment on the new contract, Musk posted on X that the division between Starlink and Starshield as serving civilian and defense customers, respectively, is the right order of things. Oh, I get it. So it's basically the same satellites, but when they're going to be used for civilian means, it's Starlink. But when you're going to be serving your defense customers, it's Starshield. Defense customers. So interesting. So we're going to open it up to customers. So not only is NASA giving you contracts and supporting you and providing government funds and government entitlements to support your company, not only is it providing cooperation with its engineers and otherwise, but you apparently at Starshield have defense customers. I don't know. So what happens if, like, I don't know, another country comes along and they're maybe bid a little bit more than the US? I hear China's got a lot of money. You seem to have a lot of money in a centralized government when you basically use your citizens as, slave labor. So you have defense customers. So is the US your only defense customer? That'd be rather limiting. Capitalist economy, would you say, Mr. Musk? So I don't know. Wouldn't you think we'd be open to other defense customers? What are you saying? Does Starlink go to the highest bidder? Weird. Strange. I don't know. Like, am I the only one asking? I don't know. Kind of seems like I'm the only one asking these questions. I don't see any editorials on this subject. I don't see anybody in the mainstream media kind of talking about this. Everybody just kind of goes along with it. Kind of strange. It almost seems like everybody's under like a spell. It's almost like they've used some weird alchemical, black magical practice to hypnotize and enslave the entire population to the point where nobody even questions this blatantly and patently absurd fucking narrative that I'm reading to you right now. Very strange. I don't know. Let me continue. Because this is kind of making me nauseous and I'm having a hard time stomaching this article. Because it's completely insane. It's absurd. It's evidencing that we live in a clown world, that we're living in an impossible reality that's being presented to you whole cloth from the top down. None of it's real. It's a complete illusion. It's a farce. It's a joke. And I need to finish this article. The U.S. Space Force has shown equal interest in boosting its satellite internet capabilities. Okay, so why don't you do it, Space Force? So now you have NASA and Space Force. But then you have, the private entities like SpaceX. So do it, Space Force. Put your own satellites up there. Apparently everybody's doing it. Idiot broadcasting companies are doing it. They say there's like 3,000 satellites or more just buzzing around. Low Earth orbit. Put your own up there. Why do you got to use Elon's? Let's continue. Starlink is likely especially attractive because it leverages a proliferated architecture of what will eventually be many thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit. So Elon can do it, but you can't do it? So you need to, as you say, you need to, what's the term you used? Leverage a proliferated architecture of many thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit. Having many assets in space rather than a handful of exquisite satellites means that the overall system is more resilient to attack by adversaries. So there you go. They finally, in their last sentence, tried to justify it. Basically, Elon does it better. He's smarter than everybody else in the U.S. government. So because he has, as they say, many assets and eventually thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit, it's much better, and it's a much better overall system and more resilient than just a handful of exquisite satellites. So the U.S. government, we really make like high quality, exquisite stuff. We just need Elon to put in the other structure.